Hello, this is MVJ. This is Montriel Jamari, your inner strength relationship and individual coach using Western psychology and African philosophy to help you to live life more abundantly. Today in the studio we have Ileana Christian Silva. She's from Brazil. I met her at dance. Really great person. We seem to hit it off really well. Just so happens that she is really interested in some of the theories that I have on my website as far as coaching individuals and also helping women as well as men to understand relationships. And so we've been having a conversation about the flow of a relationship and how that works. So she is from Brazil. Once again, she has her master's degree and really intelligent woman. She's going to give the Malkia side of it. This is the queen side. So she believes that the queen has a lot of power and that she can change certain things in a relationship. I was really interested in this particular theory. And what I believe is along those same lines, but she put a different twist on it. So we're going to talk a little bit today about 3 or 4 ways that we can create flow within a relationship. And she has 4 topics that we're going to cover. And this might be over the next few weeks that we're going to discover certain things. And so what's interesting about this, what we're going to talk about today. And so we're going to look at first the relationship piece of it. And she's really interested in it. She has something coming up in June as far as the Brazil is concerned. And she's going to have me as to help out. And I'm going to have her to help out here too with a lot of women. So without any further ado, here is Miss Ileana. We're going to call her Lilly for short. And we're going to have a great topic today.
Hi guys, this is Ileana, or Lilly, as Mont said. So yes, we're here, and we have a question here that I just read, and I think that would be easy and for all us girls to understand a little bit about guys, the real guy. And the real guy, the guys want to have sex. Their mind get crazy when they don't have sex. And for us, girl, we want to have a lot of sex too. But you want to have a safe sex. So it's important for us to start right in the beginning. So we both have the same idea where we are going.
A lot of times what guys and women do is that they don't really venture to talk about the real issues. You know, there's something about men that a lot of women need to know is that guys are driven by sex drive. All right. And so it is not something that can be turned off or on. It's just a part of how we are from an evolutionary point of view. And when women can understand that, then that can draw us closer to a greater communication. And so she is right. You know, there is something about us that that cannot be taken away from us. And then when we do try to take away, then we run into issues of emasculation. Okay, so like a guy does not want to be emasculated. And that's what happens in relationships when we look at 2 partners trying to come together, is a woman attempting to emasculate a man. And then that's going to drive him further away into a cave.
And I think when the guys go into that cave is like they are telling us something that is not right. And we don't know why, although why they are in the cave. And they are not going to talk to us if we're not asking questions. And it's the hard part to ask that question, because every time you want to talk about it, they get like become a monster. the monster just come and like, oh my god, talking again.
It's so true. I mean, guys, if we're going to be honest about it, guys don't want to talk about these feelings. We think women are crazy when they come to us with all these random feelings, and all we want to do is have sex. And so that's, at times we do want to talk, right? I think it's really a healthy part of us. But when we're constantly dealing with the emotional part of the relationship, or she's not figuring out what's going on with her emotionally, then that can trigger certain things in us to want to turn away or distance ourselves. And I'm just being honest. I think a lot of guys, if they were, that's why you see a lot of guys, go out and work on their cars, or they're out on the tractor, or they're playing poker, or even work, in some unhealthy ways, they can get into issues of, pornography addiction, or gambling addiction, or alcohol, different things that run them into the deepest, darkest part of the cave. And that's what we want to try to avoid. We want to have a good communication between us, so we don't want the monster, and that's something that we're going to try to tackle, is how to get rid of the monster.
So we either doesn't want to be a monster when you start to talk about it. So what I think, and I feel like inside of me, that the 4 ways, like, first of all, we have to know what we want, what we really want in our life. Is not depend of the guy, is depend of you, what you want in your life, what you want to accomplish in your life. And the second, like, what are you feeling in that moment with the guy, or whatever it is. It's just feel what do you feel. If whatever comes to you, notes that feeling and feel, and ask yourself, why are you feeling that way? If you're angry, why are you angry? Why are you frustrated? Where does that frustration come from? As nobody can make you angry. And it's something inside of you trying to get what you are not getting.
This is really important. What Lilly just brought up is the idea of displaced anger. And what we use in psychology is a word called projection. Okay, so this is I believe it's Sigmund Freud, or one of the early psychologists. It's the idea of projecting some emotional baggage, something that's undone inside of you, onto the other person. So what she is saying here is that if you're angry, if you're feeling anger, you're feeling some stuff that's coming on inside of you, it doesn't do the relationship any good in projecting that anger onto the other person. So what you are feeling, what are some of the emotions that you are feeling? This is vice versa. It goes both ways with guys and girls. What are the feelings that you are feeling and connecting with them? Women have an easier time of connecting with those feelings. They're more verbal than most guys. Most guys are very mechanical with their feelings, or they hold them in. And I think that's the reason why that women tend to live a lot longer than men, is that they're willing to emote. Right, they're willing to cry. They're able to talk about these things, whereas guys tend to suppress the stress and the anger that happens within inside of us. Okay, so back to what she was saying. Again, we want to be mindful of the projection of the anger onto the other person.
Oh yeah, and back to our feelings. I believe it's so important. Connect to our emotions. Is their feelings, is your feelings. So, and I think the communication can start to truly feel yourself. Go in your knees, and feel, and understand your feelings. And when you come to talk to your guy, you're going to talk in a feeling way. So he can understand you, and he can feel you, if that's true feeling. And as soon as you know what you want, you know what you feel.
That's a very good point, Lily. I think the problem that we run into is when the the relationship runs into issues when the man is left trying to figure out what it is exactly that you want. And when you don't understand your own feelings, your own emotions, for what you truly desire, then that runs into us trying to figure you out. And when we try to figure you out, it's one of those conundrums that can lead to more distancing within the relationship. So I agree with you. Yes, I think a woman, when she is able to feel her own feelings and understand where she's coming from an emotional sense, and then be able to communicate that in a logical way. And, it's very difficult to try to communicate feelings logically a lot of times. But I think it's very important to state how you are feeling. And that was going back into the previous radio show when we talked about the I feel because statements. I'm feeling unappreciated because it seems like you have more time for other projects in your life than you do me, or you do this relationship, or you do this family. And being able to communicate that in a very rational manner, it leaves space for the man to be able to understand exactly where you are coming from. And at the same time, it's hard for anyone to try to argue your feelings when it is communicated in that form. Because you're coming from a place where you are stating your feelings to me, and then that's communicated very clearly. But when it's very when it's very unapproachable, in a sense of the woman in the relationship not communicating her feelings clearly, or understanding where she's coming from or why she's feeling these feelings, because she hasn't explored herself first, then that leads to a great deal of communication difficulties within the relationship.
Right. So it's important to know what we want in the relationship and know how to communicate this, and understand the other part also. And the guys does everything for us. They want to be with us, and we also want to be with them, or with the guy. And I think the key and the secret here, being a present, and enjoy each other company, and and have fun. And whatever it is something that doesn't feel good.
I think that's a fantastic point. We should enjoy the person that we have in our lives. It shouldn't be a task to be in a relationship with someone. Now, that doesn't go to say that the relationship doesn't have its ups and downs, and we have to recalibrate the relationship. We have to look at the relationship for what it is and try to maneuver through the turmoil that happens within the relationship. And as we begin to understand each other a little bit more through the communication tactics that we talked about today, I think it's a better way of approaching the relationship than to distance ourselves and not appreciate the person that we have in our lives and not being able to enjoy their company. Just as a recap, so we have a few more minutes, and we want to talk, just kind of segue into what we covered so far. So Lily talked about to begin to understand your own emotions as priority number one, as far as the female is concerned. Number two is to communicate your feelings clearly to your partner, and also to own your own feelings. I know we didn't dive too deep into owning your own feelings, but I think that's a very important point, and it's probably something that we're going to cover in our next radio station. And also, we talked about being present. A lot of times we move, we're not there for whatever reason, spiritually and with our own selves physically, we can be distant from the person that we're with by putting ourselves away into that cave or into that emotional space away from a partner that we have in our lives. And also, finally, we want to enjoy the person that we're with and to remember the good things about this person and what it was that attracted you to this particular individual that you have in your life. That person is by no means perfect, but how do we begin to work through that imperfection into making it something more beautiful? How can we bring our own faults together and begin to work through the issues and not, as they say, throw the baby out with the bathwater? Okay, so we want to be able to enjoy the person that we're with and be able to communicate our feelings and our emotions in a clear, effective manner.
What do you want? It's very important. What do you feel? It's super important. And take care of yourself.
Very good.
I think it's that real one.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm certainly appreciate Lilly for being here. We will see. We're looking at working together. She made that pretty clear.
Oh my God, I'm honest. I feel I have to be always honest with myself and with everybody else. It's just...
When she's saying everybody else, she's talking about me.
Oh my God.
I'm putting this on the air.
He's funny. He's so funny. Oh, thank you so much.
You know what? You bring a great vibe to the radio show, Lilly. I certainly appreciate you being here. You brought up a great topic. We're going to talk about the king, the prince, and the boy. Very, very great topic. Powerful. And then we're going to talk about the queen, the princess, and the girl, and what that means in a relationship, and talk about personality issues that we come across as far as picking a compatible mate. All right, that's going to do it for us today. I want to thank the lovely Lilly for being here with us today. I certainly appreciate her and her insight, coming all the way from Brazil to join us in this wonderful town called Chico. And also, we want to look out for some of her own projects that's going on. She has a project going on in June, and so we want to be on the lookout for that. And we'll have her to come on the show next time to talk a little bit more about her future projects. This is part of the Uhusani Watu. This is the big village, the greater good. Until we meet next time, my friend, be good and be well.